actually think this is a good Pudge pick. It's it's a good game for it. Let's take a gander. Once we're done like flying the drone around the Dota map, I want you to take a look at the base damage of Pudge and then compare it to the base damage of Spectre. Is that a fat 80? 80 average damage for Pudge. Spectre's average damage 52.
Wow.
How do you last hit? How do you do it?
That's a great question. Probably dispersion.
Yes, they attack you, and then that damage reflecting gives you some last hit. That is an option.
You get like 2 damage from that.
But this is one of the weaknesses of the Spectre core, is that you just lane somebody against it that shouldn't be able to lane as well, but has like more offensive potential than a lot of offlaners do, and then you kind of just like get away with murder. You know, it's like playing Alchemist offlane. If you play Alchemist offlane versus the Spectre, it's the same thing. You get super far ahead because you're getting away with something you shouldn't be able to get away with. So if Pudge can power deny against the Spectre, Eves just isn't going to have as much of a game. And in the same vein, I'm actually happy to see Speed playing Prophet mid again. The last time he played this, I thought it was very solid. He basically, once things get dangerous and he's worried about getting ganked, he sits much farther back and he gets last hits with his treants. So he still gets last hits. That part's really good. So that's at least 2 lanes that I'm feeling a lot more hopeful for 5RATFORCESTAFF. I also like TA against Night Stalker. That's a common pick that people go for. And in my opinion, the reason is that Night Stalker usually gets BKB at this timing. He's really powerful. TA doesn't give a shit about BKB. She's still going to meld strike you. She's going to lower your armor really low, and your team can actually kill him through BKB. So it makes Night Stalker's like timing feel a lot weaker. So I don't know. I like the 5RATFORCESTAFF game. There was a top hat last game.
That's right.
But I think their draft is way better than the previous one.
Okay, so you just hyped up 5RATFORCESTAFF's lineup big time. Are you actually picking them to win, though? Yeah,
if we take away the team names,
that's a lot of silence.
Yes.
But I see the team names right now, so it's too late for that. Yeah, we'll see how good the Pudge ends up being, as Albino's even not able to take out the Courier officially here. I mean, Mira or Effie brought up a good point that there's not a lot of tower damage coming out of the Wildcard lineup, but of course, last game they didn't have to hit any towers because the GGs were called way before buildings were even taken. And I'm not sure if that was the fastest game we've had, but that was a sub 20-minute game. That's the first that I've seen since I've been here, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they GG'd very early, but yeah, the game, the writing was no doubt on the wall in that one. Yeah, the tower damage can be a big issue, especially when your opponents split push a lot. If it's a lot of split pushing coming from the Nature's Prophet in the mid game, and you don't get a lot of time to be on towers, and yeah, your lack of damage can really make things feel awful. Spectre's pretty tanky though, so that can help offset things a bit. But so far, things are going pretty good for 5RAT. Pudge is sitting 7-3. Spectre has managed to get some last hits. He's up to 6 here. So, not the end of the world for him. But, decent lanes for 5RATs.
A very early Helm of the Iron Will onto Divide Llama. So, getting a nice armor HP regen boost there. I mean, for Pudge as an offlaner, what exactly would you say is the, not only the item build, but the skill build? Is it a 1-2-2 still? For the skill build?
I like that build, yeah. Equal points of Flesh Heap will offset rot damage. Some players have gone more Flesh Heap to further increase their survivability. It's overkill for rotting, but in terms of staying alive versus your opponents and lowering the cooldown of Flesh Heap, it's pretty good. So I could definitely see him getting more Flesh Heap than normal, but we will see. Yeah, probably something like 1-2-2 or 1-4-2 or 1-2-4, something like that. Mostly Flesh Heap and rot. It's definitely the way to play. And then item-wise, probably he's going for phase boots, which is a great way to increase your armor and help make your hero more mobile. I think Blink Dagger is a good way to make Pudge more effective earlier without having to worry about landing monster hooks every single time. So I think that can be really helpful.
First item, Blink, after boots?
Yeah, I could see that. Or you can get maybe a Vanguard if you want more HP. Regen is obviously good, but with Flesh Heap, it's not nearly as needed because you can offset the rot damage. So you do not have to get one of those items, but obviously either a Hood or a Vanguard is good to increase your survivability to a more healthy place.
Speed, gonna have to TP back to base. He was still saving his wand, so there wasn't really any threat of dying there from Esk in the mid lane. But you can see in terms of just the CS alone, 17-2 for the puck, 13-9 for Speed's Nature's Prophet. I mean, what do you think about the NP this game in terms of fitting into the lineup?
It gives them more tower pressure, it gives them some wave push, which they kind of need. Skywrath can't push waves super well. Clockwork can a bit, but you know, he'd rather be setting up for positions. TA can push waves. It's okay. I think they're using it more because they like how it gives them lane secure in the mid lane against Puck, and in the sense that Speed plays it quite well, and it helps ensure that he doesn't end up getting killed when rotations end up coming. So in the game, it'll be fine. Last time Speed played it, I thought he played it pretty decent, but we'll see.
Yep, top lane. Albino Zebra did take the courier up finally this time. A lot of damage to Alex, who has to be a little bit careful as the battery stall is ending now. Ice Shard's not going to be there, though. And you can see bot lane, there was a lot of harassment being done as well, but no kills as of yet.
Lil Nick has good last hit advantage, though. 27-11 versus the 15-1 of the Spectre. Despite the quick Band of Elven skin, Spectre's base damage is still very, very much less. He just ticked over to level 4. So I guess the levels are about the same. That part's not terrible. Nice nuke by a Giant there, hitting both heroes.
It's funny that Pudge has gone through like these phases, or I shouldn't say phases. There's been a long phase, let's say, of him just being awful, pretty much objectively, as you can see Divide Llama taking some harassment here. But the one thing that I feel like has always been constant is his base damage is really good, and his attack animation is very fluid. So getting last hits with him actually is not that hard.
Yeah, that's for sure. His base damage got buffed by a decent amount a couple patches ago, maybe like 6 months to a year ago. It got increased by like 5 or 10 damage or something like that. But yeah, it's always been pretty darn high, certainly.
As we're gonna see the Arcane Bolt coming for Sammy Boy. He's going to try to turn this around, but he's going to die first, as Giant will be the cleanup for Eve.
As Speed basically securing that one. Sam had outplayed him, and it was secured that he was going to get the kill against Sky, but that ulti, I did not expect that one to come through. Really nicely timed, and that gives Sky some nice experience. Alex gets a kill on Albino Zebra on the top lane. These two heroes, nighttime now, very easy to run down their opponents, especially with the Helm of Iron Will. It's been a while since I saw Armlet on Night Stalker, actually. Not very common, but it will give him some good damage, and it helps solve some of that armor problem that I said he was going to have against the TA in the mid game, because Armlet gives you a whole like 9 armor. And I guess if you use it with the Shard, which is what he's queuing up, it's going to help offset that heavy minus HP, the anti-regen that you get from using the armlet. So it's kind of a cool idea. I haven't seen somebody do this before, but it makes some sense on paper.
Yep, Night Stalker is always one of those picks that I find to be very exciting, as Alex is going to be hiding in the trees. Keep Tango down, for God's sake. This is a professional Dota match. Purge. How dare you? How's Tango doing anyway?
Not fat, that's for sure. Definitely not fat. It's very good. Alex
taking some battery assault damage. We'll take the snowball, though, to the creep wave to stay safe. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with now, though. So, was it that when you left for the main... Oh, we're going to have to hold that thought. Ask. He is coming. Cogs are going to kind of separate him a bit from the pack, as Alex will be helping take out DNM. So that ends up being a pretty decent kill the way of Wildcard. But bottom lane, Eve gets taken out by Lil Nick, who's having himself a game right now. Speed obviously TP'd in to help out, but there's the coil. And Esk, all right, he's going to get saved thanks to the Dismember. This could be a huge kill onto Esk. One more right click will do it, but the hook will be used instead. Little Nick, double kill, and the tier 1 tower likely to fall next.
Huge play there by Lil Nick to go for, to secure that kill. Gets 6 from the first kill, I believe. They kill Puck after with the rotation. The tower's now just straight up dead. This is a big deal for Spectre. It's not quite level 6, only has power treads and a magic stick and 700 gold in the bank. Nick can just hold this creep wave now. Yeah, here's the dive. Very, very easy kill. That lack of silence hurt them a little bit in terms of the follow-up kill, because when Pudge did end up catching the Puck, they didn't have any damage amplifier. But with 3 heroes beating on Puck, they get him quite low. Zeus trying his best to clean up here. Did Speed get out as well? Oh my god, he did.
Yep, that was about as best case scenario as possible for 5RAT. And I mean, I was going to talk about this last game, but it was such a stomp that I felt like it would have been maybe perceived as sarcastic, as Giant is going to be dropped by Eve in the end, actually, with that dagger of his. But of the bottom 3 teams, I've felt like 5RATFORCESTAFF has been clearly the best, even though they have the same record as the Cut. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the cut is not bad. I liked them a little bit better last season personally, but they're still pretty solid. They're probably better this season, or this season anyway, skill level wise, but it's getting tougher as time goes on, you know.
Yep, Albino Zebra.
But yeah, last game definitely an underperformance by them, but this game is looking a little bit closer to where I expected them to play.
Yep, indeed. They're sitting on that 1K lead right now, and this tier 1 tower going to take a bit of a beating from Devi and Alex. Not sure if they're going to get it, but it doesn't look like a defense is coming, so while Devi's ult is up, he's just going to take advantage of this extra damage. So it looks like it will be theirs for the taking. And looks like Lil Nick went for the old Hood of Defiance, so trying to counteract that spell damage coming out from Puck and Zeus.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, makes sense. You need a hood against Zeus no matter what, because otherwise what happens is by the time he buys his shard, the percentage-based damage he's dealing to you is just way, way too high.
Good
He
attempt.
expected Eves to go for the deny first, I think, potentially, but he misses the hook.
Yep, Sammy Boy thinking there was a ward there, but it was not. Obviously, the benefits of having a Zeus on the team. Being able to D-ward pretty easily. As Esk looking for the 10-minute rune, he's going to get the invis. And, I mean, looking at these teams, like, for the Roche, because this doesn't look like it's going to be the same as last game already, which is good. But I would say Roche advantage most likely in terms of lineups for 5RAT. Because of the TA.
Yep, yeah, I would agree with that. TA, Nature's Prophet, both very solid against it. The Wildcard gaming side has great control over it, though, with Dark Ascension, Nighttime, that kind of stuff. The Armlet's finished on Night Stalker. He's got full points in Hunter of the Night, so his DPS when he right-clicks is actually going to be insane right now. We saw it much earlier with the TA kill, with the tag team. He just attacks super fast. So that part is definitely kind of terrifying. Taking Roche is going to require you winning a team fight first, which they can potentially do. Wildcard Gaming gank and Lil Nick, they'll see if anybody TPs to help.
Yep, Snowball coming. Gonna connect. Esk still biding his time. There's the hook shot into a hook.
Hook twice.
Dismember to follow, but the nice phase, or the silence to come out, dropping that immediately. So it's gonna lead to a kill onto Alex. So Esk not using his coil, saving it for a rainy day, it seems.
I wasn't feeling the kill. If he had full Witchblade completed there, I could see them trying to kill the Pudge. But when he's got a hood, and I mean, Tusk did have a lot of physical damage with Tag Team and Walrus Punch, but Pudge is so survivable, and him having a hood means that most of Puck's damage just would have been nullified there. So he made the right choice to not necessarily reveal himself, but yeah, good rotation from Clock. And I really like that it was just one rotation from the 5RAT side. They didn't over-rotate like 3 heroes, leading to just one support kill. Ultimately, they're still getting a lot done. It costs Speed his ulti, but he doesn't really care.
Well, he might now. He's going to get snowballed and brought down in all likelihood. Last hit goes the way of Sammy Boy of all heroes, so that cuts the lead in half.
But this is one of the downsides to having so many farmers on your team, is that there's only so many places to farm. Someone's going to have to take the slightly dangerous area. And in that case, it was Speed. Lil Nick has kind of just been playing bottom by himself, which is pretty efficient, right? If he can get a kill, it would be great. But if he can just stop Spectre from feeling comfortable running into the jungle, that already does a lot. But Spec's net worth is really not that bad. Lil Nick is top of the chart, though.
Yeah, and he's only 400 away from Blink Dagger, so has the 144 build. So doing a lot of damage, and has a lot of damage mitigation as well as Eve. Ooh, they don't have enough vision to go for a hook, it looks like. Although
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
hook
Just
shot.
the ward is spotting.
Yeah.
He could always haunt to get out.
Concussive shot is there into the hook shot, so Sammy Boy might be who had to settle for. Is this going to get silenced? And Little Nick just looking for... Okay. Was not... I mean, that's when you have zero faith in your Pudge to hit his hook with that Mystic Flare coming out. But while that was happening, DNM does drop to Divide Llama in the mid lane, as they're now pressuring this tier 1 tower. Obviously, hookshot is down as Speed teeping right into the midst of things. It's a good old-fashioned team fight now. Speed dies instantly. And now Alex and Eve focusing on the rest of the heroes here. Albino getting very low. It's going to be a trade for Eve, which is favorable. It looks like the double kill from Nick, as he is the lone survivor for 5RATFORCESTAFF. What the hell was that fight?
It looked pretty bad for 5RAT at the start with Speed TPing in, but Nick just stopped taking damage, basically. He turns on Flesh Heap. He's doing rot damage to like 2 to 3 heroes the whole time. That was the real value there. So maybe bad for Speed. I mean, it literally was like everybody clumped. It's like they're trying to fight over a bounty rune. That's what that was right there. But the rot damage was
with
very,
the
very
ice
good.
shards, just
That was a good one.
bit of overkill there, but I mean,
All right.
4 dead
There's a
for
blink on Nick
5RAT.
now.
Yep, we'll
He can
see
catch
what
up
Nick can
Esk.
do. As he is getting Dismember off onto Esk in the river. Nicely done with the Mystic Flare combo.
Perfect. That's the power of the Blink Dagger. Once you get Blink, it's easy to activate your ulti. I think, I don't remember what Chinese team it was, but they were quoted as saying the problem with Pudge is his ultimate, is that he doesn't really have much of an ultimate. And it's very difficult to use, right? You either land a hook, and they don't have some kind of BKB, 4-staff, glimmer, stun dodge, and then you get Dismember off. In late game team fights, it's getting interrupted all the time. So if he can turn this Blink Dagger into Dismembers right now, it's a huge stun. It's a 3-second stun that's going to translate to like, 600 total magic damage with Rod on top of it. So that plus any other hero is kills. So the fact that Nick is top net worth 6-0-1 and has a Sky in his team, such a great combo for them.
That's
and
true.
that just means Wildcard Gaming is going to have to play really defensive unless they're able to get kills on Lil Nick.
Yeah, they're going to attempt it here, potentially. Devi in the trees. Ice Shards to block in Little Nick. His fat body can't escape, but here comes the hook shot from the other side. But he's still silenced thanks to this crippling fear and just gets punched into the air. But that is the sacrifice they'll take so that Little Nick does not drop his kill streak. Not the worst thing in the world
really
for
needed.
5RAT.
Nicely done by Albino Zebra to cover him, because don't burn the kill streak. Don't give the levels back to your opponents.
A
little spooky.
Esk. Yeah, he sees Speed, and there's the coil with the help of Eve coming in. So Speed is dead,
What is this nature you speak of?
which has been the kind of the. I mean, how many deaths is that now? It's 3 deaths. Okay, I thought he had 4, so not as bad as I thought, but obviously for the mid laner, not ideal. But
he
if,
needs a BKB really badly.
yeah, it does feel like 5RAT, their hopes and dreams are on the Pudge for Little Nick, as he is dominating this game right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the game is a little bit spooky. Eves is doing fine in terms of net worth. It's not uncommon for Spectre to be behind net worth in the early mid game. It takes him a while to get super far ahead. But he's got the Blade Mail, he even got Chip Vest as well, so he's reflecting a lot of physical damage being dealt to him.
Oh, he's
Nick
going to
finds
get
him, though.
dismembered.
He got broken too.
Yep, from the creep. That is unfortunate, so no dispersion for you. And the hook from Little Nick leads to his 7th kill.
Oh my god. Perfect ward positioning.
Hook
Sets
shot,
that one up.
and you can see the combination with the Cogs Mystic Flare come to fruition again as Alex gets dropped. Feels like 5RATFORCESTAFF are all over the place. Now with that 1K lead. And DNM has his Blink Dagger at base, so just needs to be delivered. While Little Nick is going to be working on Aghanim Scepter, so only about, he's basically halfway there at this point.
Yeah, it's in a really good position.
It's
Got the hook maxed out. Now they're having a little bit of damage troubles on the tower, but TA's certainly the method for it.
Up, Sammy Boy gets spotted out. There's the hook with the Atos set up into another Dismember, but it's instantly canceled. Sammy Boy, is he gonna live? No, finally Little Nick drops him, but Little Nick gets killed, so that's a big turnaround for Wildcard Gaming as the Ice Shard's blocking everybody in again. Triple kill for Eve as the buyback came through from Sammy Boy. Looks like the rest of 5RATFORCESTAFF should be able to get out just fine.
Dire's middle tower has
And-
fallen.
I mean, triple kill for Eve after dying in that jungle. Pretty big for catapulting him back into this game. As he's top net worth, actually.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, the networks look really funny right now. It's very neatly organized in terms of where he's supposed to be. But yeah, they overextended pretty hard here. End up getting the kill. Scarlet Mage ends up paying for it immediately. And then it's just Nick versus like 4 heroes. It doesn't matter that he's got Flesh Heap and a Hood when that many heroes are hitting him. In fact, that's the damage type that he's vulnerable to. He just has the phase boots, so a limited amount of armor against tag team and all the right clicks.
Yep.
So he gets cleaned up pretty easy. If he had Spell Lifesteal there, maybe it's different. Maybe he stays alive, but it's going to be a while till he gets that. Needs another level to pick it up.
So you are expecting, I guess that's pretty standard for the Ags build, I would take it.
It's pretty standard, and the item is good. I'm just not completely sold on it just yet. I just played Pudge yesterday.
Oh, I
and
thought you were.
Part of the problem is that
I thought you were talking about Eternal Shroud. You're talking about the. Or I thought you were talking about the talent. You're talking about Eternal Shroud. Okay.
he's gonna get the talent for sure. The Eternal Shroud though is I'm a little unsure about it still.
Okay. Looks like Sammy Boy's dead, as they are in the Roche pit. This will be a nice pickup for 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Like, Eternal Shroud's really good on mana. The cooldown on the barrier is lower, but it's really expensive to upgrade. You're spending 1,800 gold to get it. So yeah, the extra spell lifesteal is great, but if your opponent spot BKBs, it doesn't even do anything anyways. It's almost better to get your own BKB instead to try to like offset some of the BKB timings is kind of what it feels like, or maybe some other utility. If you have Ags and your opponents aren't BKB'd, it's obviously really good, right? Because they're gonna clump on you, and then you're just gonna lifesteal back off of them. But I'm just not completely. It's like a pub stomper item still is kind of what the item feels like for almost all heroes, which is wow, it's always been useful in lower level pubs on bristleback type heroes. So it's getting closer to being viable, but it's just not as impact as something like both Blink and Ags are on Pudge. So
yeah,
maybe he buys a third, maybe he goes BKB instead.
I was pretty convinced that they were going to lower the recipe cost at some point. He's actually going to leave the Grove Bow on the ground. That's unfortunate. I wonder if he noticed.
He probably did.
Yeah, there we go. Back to the small camp. Very inefficient Lil Nick. Sad for him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lower recipe costs. I mean, when I see Pudges play, spell lifesteal's great, right? And it's basically the talent. Yeah. It's Eternal Shroud, which is, you know, it makes sense because of the rot giving you mana and all that stuff, and it gives you that spell lifesteal. And there's Bloodstone, which, I mean, theoretically is okay, but you're not going to build that on a Pudge.
Probably not. Bloodstone in some ways is better because you get way more spell lifesteal. Puts it up to what, 60%? Like, in some ways, spell lifesteal on Pudge is just worse than it used to be. It used to be useful because you were taking so much damage from rot all the time. But now when you use rot, you take 0 damage with Flesh Heap. So like, is spell lifesteal really that good anymore? It's not really good against creeps. It's only good against heroes. But against heroes, most of the time they're BKB'd, like I said. So you're not even getting it. So that's kind of the bummer. In some ways, like buying a pipe, it's basically the same cost. Buying a pipe is probably just better in some cases. So you'll just live longer.
Now we're going to see the Atos into Dismember, Mystic Flare. Another kill the way of Little Nick as the snowball came from Alex to try to save his teammate, but just a little bit too late. He's going to get hooked back into the fray. Gets off the ice shards, but guess who's still there? Little Nick.
Dude. He's fucking owning.
He has 12
oh my God,
Flesh Heap stacks into Sammy Boy. He goes. No TP for
13.
you. Lil Nick is 100 away from Aghanim Scepter. And that's going to become really scary for Wildcard to deal with.
Suns fan, I just don't see how Lil Nick does not get poached from 5RATFORCESTAFF after this season. I'm not going to lie. Not for like a tier 1 team necessarily, but he really just stands out. He's been playing so good.
I've been a huge Lil Nick fan for quite a while.
But also he's been playing well.
I mean, it's a combination of things for me. Like, first of all, he's young, which is, you know, a breath of fresh air in the NA scene because you're seeing the old faces over and over and over get recycled. And number 2, obviously he's good. And number 3, he seems like a very nice young lad, you know? That's also a breath of fresh air in the toxic NA region. So we'll see if he finds a little bit of better opportunity. But I could definitely see it.
Axe is finished. He's got the spell lifesteal talent. He went for the rot slow, so the powerful 48% slow your opponents cannot get away from you very easily. Very good stuff. Also picks up the Vambrace for a little bit more magic resistance. That'll help offset the rot damage that he takes during Flesh Heap, since it's not covered fully now due to having the Ags up. But curious to see what he builds next. Probably BKB though. BKB's up on Nature's Prophet. He's almost got his Maelstrom or his Mjolnir finish, planning for Shard as well. He's actually the one working with the Grove Bow, not the TA. A little surprising, but TA does have a lot of mana needs, so Bullwhip works for that. Eve's kind of far forward.
Yep, he does have the Radiance. There's going to be a pickoff onto Albino Zebra to start things out. The snowball save for now onto Eve, has the Blade Mail activated. Little Nick just trying to get out of this coil, but he can't do much other than focus on Alex himself. He's going to get that kill. Divine Llama pops the BKB on very low HP. They're going to drop Little Nick. That's another big kill for Wildcard. And Speed. Oh, did he?
He waited too long.
Okay.
He wasn't going to make it, so he started attacking.
I see. Hook shot back by Albino, whatever the hell his name is. 60 seconds. I believe that was a dieback for him, so...
Ooh, that was close. He
Wildcard.
almost died on Dwy.
Only losing one member, and that was a 4K lead for 5RAT that has just been completely flip-flopped now.
Yeah, kind of a dangerous jump there. Good attempt on the Spectre, but he gets Snowball saved, and they lose Tusk for it, but it's a bunch of damage going into Little Nick there, and as you can tell, he's queued up a BKB, because that's what the problem was. He just eventually started taking too much damage from Zeus. And this is also the danger with the Ags Pudge, is that after you initiate, they all jump on you. They hit you with a silence, a stun, something like that, and then you're sitting there rotting for yourself for like 6 to 8 seconds. It's a lot of damage. Once Flesh Heap runs out, it hurts bad. So that ends up costing you a lot of HP. Night Stalker was BKB'd, so he doesn't get spell lifesteal. He's just rotten for nothing. It ends up hurting you a lot in those longer drawn-out fights. So just a good attempt, but they didn't see backline. They couldn't stop the Tusk, so the fight got messy.
All right, I have a question for you that's not related to anything.
Great.
What do you think? Let's just pretend this Ags didn't exist for Pudge, okay?
Yep.
What if the Ags just doubled the length of Meat Hook?
Boring.
You think that's boring?
Yeah.
I think
I mean, it'd be
saying
fun.
it is boring, but
Is
when
it
you
good, though?
see it, it is very fun.
Radiant's middle tower.
And that's what Pudge
It
is
would
all
just be
about.
like, it would be way too cheesy. People would complain about it like techies. That's what it would be like. It would be like so anti-fun that people would like, it'd be too frustrating to get hooked like that. That people would just not, they wouldn't want to play Dota against it. It would become like the most hated hero in Dota. Because repositioning is already very powerful, right? So I just say boring in the sense that, like, sure, if those land, it's really funny. But if you don't, it's the same old Pudge memes. Like, man, this guy spent 4,000 gold, but he can't hit Oka anyways. Like, why increase the range? Like, what's the point?
That's the best part about it, is Sammy Boy out there. Smoke is going to get popped. He's going to use, okay, gets out of the Mystic Flare nicely, but he's going to get punched inside of these cogs. Snowball to save, though. And they're going to turn this around on Albino Zebra. So they end up netting themselves 2 kills, even though 5RAT were the ones to initiate.
Ooh, DNM going to get his courier spotted. He is getting ran at. He's got a BKB, though.
Yeah, they could
gonna get
cancel.
interrupted.
Yes, indeed. He's going to get silenced now. Here comes Eve with the haunt. DNM pops that BKB, but the physical damage coming at Divide Llama is crazy. The meld is going to keep him alive, but dies shortly after. And so going to focus now on the right clicks onto the puck as Speed. Yep, the silence comes out at the last moment from the Skywrath. So they do lose the TA,
really
but a
bad to
good
me.
turnaround for 5RAT.
More than a good tournament. That was amazing from my perspective. They killed the enemy mid and the carry for the TA. Absolutely worth it. I thought it was going to be way worse than that. I thought that he had made a big mistake by trying to TP here against the Night Stalker after they won a team fight, but all of his teammates got their quick speed TPs in, of course. Little Nick walked over, must have been doing ancient creeps or something. Eves looks squishy in that fight right there. He just gets shredded instantly. He has no magic resistance, basically, so he's just sitting on his base and the dispersion, which didn't look that survivable. He also isn't going to buy BKB on the Spectre carry, making the Pudge even more effective, since he's always going to get the Rot Chase and the lifesteal from it. So that was a really big moment for 5RAT, because it's going to get Pudge closer to BKB and make the follow-up fights even easier for him. So net worth is looking great for the Rats. Speed's on top, TA's right next to him, as is the Pudge. The only people that are kind of suffering are the supports. Sky's going to kind of die every single fight no matter what, especially being the 5 position with the Atos. Like, he's going to cast his combo and die every game or every fight. But Clockwork can be useful too, and as long as the cores are farmed and they fight well, I think this looks pretty decent for the Rats.
Yep, not looking too shabby. The next Roche, let's see, we won't know. No, actually, sorry, we will know. It is respawning in 5 seconds.
Is that an instant respawn?
I don't even know anymore. I know what you're referring to.
Oh my god.
Wow!
It's respawn.
I mean, it's such a subtle gold. Like, I don't remember which one the gold is. Like, it's confusing, okay?
You have to mouse over the icon and it says it may or will. That's what you got to do.
Oh, I know, but I have my feet up. I'm relaxing. So as you see, Roshan's like, yes, I like to relax too. Oh, he's going to get the shit kicked out of him, though.
Baby Roshan.
Yeah,
Zeus just jumped off of his head.
That's the gold Roshan. Somebody has the high-level battle pass of Speed. Gonna pop the BKB and TP as the Force Staff is gonna avoid the Mystic Flare, but Alex gets the punch off, and this is gonna turn into a kill onto Giant. As, I mean, tell me how good Spectre is these days late game, because, you know, back in the day, you get the Radiance, and then you get, like, one item, and that's when Spectre's like, okay, I don't know if we can deal with her anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the gap has closed a lot because people have gotten better at abusing Haunt and timings and team fight and stuff like that, certainly. She's definitely really solid late game because she's always going to have the benefit of dispersion, like, compared to every other carry. Your tankiness is always going to be 20% more valuable, and it translates to damage against your opponents. That is inherently kind of broken. That's why Spectre is good. Her ultimate is really effective as well in the right circumstances, and against heroes like Skywrath Mage, it's also great. So there's a lot of really good things about Spectre, no doubt about it. Is she like the most broken carry right now? Not really, but she can be good, certainly. And in the right games, she can be really solid. She's really good against Nature's Prophet here because she can help run him down constantly with Spectral Dagger through Sprout. Like, Sprout literally doesn't matter for Spectre. I would say she's quite good against TA as well. Minus Armor does counter Spectre usually, but...
Oh, we have the Haunt. Eve focusing on speed. He is slow to a crawl. My goodness, he just evaporates. Little Nick forced to fight. He's going to get some help by Albino Zebra with that hook shot. Dismember was used to full effect, but Little Nick forced to try to TP out, but the punch cancels it. And Divine Llama gets credit for that kill. Look at how much gold he gets for that. 400 for him, 400 for the team. And they'll find Giant as well. So 4 for nothing. As now this game is looking wildcard favored after that fight plus the Aegis.
Yeah, that's kind of a big mistake by Speed because he popped BKB in the top fight to get back, and then Wildcard Gaming managed to get on top of him within 90 seconds again, meaning he doesn't get BKB. He dies very, very easily. Lil Nick was caught by Haunt also, so he didn't get his blink off. He's also forced to BKB. He chose to fight rather than try to teleport. Maybe he could have TP'd if he went right away, and maybe Tusk couldn't have caught up. I didn't see how close Alex was, but yeah, tough for them that they kind of chain fed there. But now no BKB on Nick for 30 seconds. But that's fine. By the time he's up, he'll be good to go. But yeah, getting back into it is definitely what Wildcard's aiming to do, and finding these like little windows has been very effective for them so far.
Yep, Speed about to respawn. He actually has the Tome of Knowledge on himself, so really valuing this level 25 talent, which, I mean, which one do you even go for this game?
He's a big fan of learning. Everybody knows that. He's a teacher after all. What, 25 talent for Nature's Prophet? Kind of hard to say. Removing TP cooldown is really good for being able to split push better, but they have pretty good catch solutions, so I don't know if that'll be as abusable as you might want. More Treant HP or damage is not terrible, I don't think. Going in mid on Zeus.
Sammy Boy gets off the Heavenly. Okay, he's dead. Albino Zebra stuck inside the shards, though, gets 4-staff to safety. But Esk with a nice coil onto 3 heroes, with Eve coming in with that Blade Mail. She's going to focus down that Skywrath to start things out. As DNM pops that BKB. You can see Little Nick already popped his, getting off that hook. And they're going to get the kill on the Tusk as a result. DNM forced to blink. See if they try to reset here. Divine Llama is going to take the Dismember to the back of the head. Pops that BKB, but dies shortly after. Double kill for Speed. As now Lil Nick continuing his rampage here. The silence coming out from the traps. Nicely played. That's a good solution for the puck. 80 seconds on the deck.
Game changed a lot once they got BKB on Pudge, because now he can actually just stand and fight and get his full ultimate off. 3.8 seconds at disable. There was a missed hook. It was a great Yules though. Really good Yules to read that one. Read it perfectly, dodges the hook, still dies. Yeah, really good by 5RATs. Now they're pressuring the tier 2. TA very wisely backed when he did. He didn't wail into the Spectre either. That was really nice by DNM to not pop his BKB quite as early as he did. Or sorry, he held it longer than he held it a bit before popping it and deciding to fight. That was nicely done by him. The real question is, what talent does Pudge get at 25?
Oh,
he played level 25 Pudge recently.
I mean, he does have... Okay, I'm going to say this, and you're going to think I'm crazy, okay? I know everybody takes the strength one. The other one, if you have a BKB, it does so much damage. You literally kill everybody. I think you take that one.
You're talking about the Dismember,
yes,
the damage
in the Dismember one is crazy if you can Dismember, which is a big if.
I mean, it does 120 damage per second plus a 0.9 strength multiplier, so to make the math easy, we could just add a strength to it, and that gets increased by 80% total. So we're talking like
a lot.
Do the math.
Hook shot in. Albino Zebra's going to be the first to fall here. Lil Nick looks like he's retreating for now. Actually, no, he's trying to find Eve. Gets off that haunt. Looks like he's going to be okay as speed pops the BKB and TPs. And we had a coil expended, and Eve is going to get the triple kill onto DNM. Looks like he's fine. He actually gets out without dropping his life. 3 dead for 5RAT. At the very least, Lil Nick gets away.
I was focused on my calculator. What happened in that team fight?
They died.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I did the math, and based on his current strength, Dismember alone will do 1,956 damage.
Full duration, okay?
Full duration.
That's without rot.
Yes.
So
I don't believe the math. It sounds insane.
I'm telling you.
Insane.
I only picked this talent. It's really good. It's just...
It pierces spell immunity, too.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's a good talent. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, getting a shit ton of HP with the other one is always... That's the safer option, right?
Well, is the HP that good? I don't think so.
It feels good.
You're basically getting, instead of 2 strength bonus, you're getting 3.2. So you're getting like 1.2 strength per that talent. So for 20 Flesh Heap, he's getting like a Reaver, 500 HP. Who gives a shit? That's what I think. I would say the damage block is better because it's going to mean you take less damage from like Rot when you have Ags. That part's kind of cool.
Right.
It does have a higher win rate, the left talent, in pubs at least. But I got to say, after doing the math on the Dismember damage, I mean, that's an 80% increase in that damage. It's huge.
Glad to have you on board. I'm sure he will not take that talent, and we can see he did not. He went for the HP. Lil Nick is going to get a Twitter DM from me after this game saying, I am disappointed,
Shameful.
young man.
Yeah.
You took the boring one. And
Yeah,
if
he gave himself 22 strength.
If somebody gets away with like less than 300 HP after Dismember, then we'll know it's the wrong one to take.
Yes. And he also heals that much more too, by the way. So
yeah, that's true.
his ulti's only going to do like 1,000 some damage instead. It's just not going to be the same.
And as you can see, Eve on Spectre ended up taking the Dispersion talent, extra 5%.
He needs it really bad.
Yeah, I think now that he has Scotty, this is where he's going to probably stop dying. I don't know. Pretty even game right now, though.
His HP is going to go a lot farther, definitely. I don't know what he'll buy for his next item. They don't. They are queuing up a Silver Edge now on Templar Assassin.
Wow, look at,
That's
what the
part
hell?
of the reason.
What is going on here? This Rangetrax is just dead. Eve is just watching it happen.
It's the 2.5 times treant HP. He's worried about getting gone on by the enemy squad. They have no vision down here except for this cliff ward, so he was worried that it would be like a blink pudge ult with
More
BKBs
creeps
and Sky
coming.
ult.
Look at these things. You got to deal with this. That's a big cactus. Actually looks more like a watermelon from this angle, but it is a cactus.
You're the cactus expert. You
That's
should know.
right. What's plural of cactus, Perch? Here's a little test for you.
Cacti, of course.
Nope, it's cactuses. Common misconception.
Damn.
Actually, both are correct, but cactuses is actually more common. Little Nick. Up. BKB from Divine Llama. And a BKB from Little Nick to try to answer this. Is actually, they're going to find 2 kills right off the bat in favor of Wildcard Gaming. And Little Nick left all alone to Dismember. Yeah, that talent was probably not the right one to take then. Albino Zebra. Yeah. He's going to drop next. So just like that. That is the dieback, in fact. So 4 for nothing, technically. Wildcard not even breaking a sweat in this fight.
Yeah, that fight looked a little bit rough for them. It's, again, the power of Haunt. Use Haunt, you see where everybody is. Use Nightstalker ulti, you see where everybody is. And Nightstalker just gets a slap pudge the whole time. He got him with a bash. And Albino Zebra can't really hook anything. He's taking an insane amount of damage, too. He died back in this fight, clearly. Buys back, comes back in the fight. And then as soon as they have Eves and Nightstalker hitting him, it's just too many stuns. His ultimate was never going to be successful.
It's like,
it was a walrus punch or a snowball or something.
Stand still, for God's sake! That's definitely what he was saying there.
Yeah.
He got him killed,
but
legitimately.
At least his dieback comes back a little faster, I guess. That part's kind of good. And by the way, Roshan potentially respawning in 40 seconds, by the way.
Okay. We potentially. Let's hover over. It will respawn in 30 seconds. Nice try, Purge.
Yes.
I've learned my lesson. And that is going to be the one with the Ags or the Refresher Shard, both of which are crazy good on Wildcard. And if it's Refresher, I don't even know who you would give. I guess Clockwork, I don't even know if it's on the other side. It's Tier 2 tower's dead here.
I'm not sure. They got Ags on Spectre, so Shadow Step ready to go.
Oh, they don't even
just put one of those.
Huh. I thought they would wait for the Roche to see if it has Ags. That would have been a money saver.
It's a refresher shard.
Is it a refresher? Okay.
Yeah, it is. Probably put it on, I feel like Night Stalker at this point.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look at his active items. They're great.
Oh my God.
Abyssal Blade, Halberd, BKB, plus his ulti. They won't. They're going to put it on Spectre. That one's really good too. Double Haunt, of course. Of course.
Yes. Double Haunt is a classic. As we're going to have a good old-fashioned refresher on Sammy Boy of all here. My goodness, he's farmed. All these trance really paying off. It's like, thanks,
I think that's a good choice. Maybe hurts a little bit. You said Sammy, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. He didn't go for the Thunder God's Wrath Talon at 20, went for Mini Stun Lightning Bolt instead, but this is a really good way to up your damage on Zeus in a cheap way. Like, you might think of like Octarine or Ags or something, but double ulti, it's 1,100 magic damage to every hero on the enemy squad, plus his shard applies, so...
Oh, we got the sheep, yep, and that is a kill onto S. Nice pick off from 5RAT, but it looks like Wildcard still want to fight as the buyback now comes out from the puck. Dismember from Little Nick. Could have been doing a lot more damage with the other talent, young man. As you can see, TA trying to do as much damage as he can from afar. But he's going to get blocked inside the shards. And now Abyssal bladed and brought down to his knees as Little Nick, the last remaining member, it feels like. Ultra kill for Eve. Make it a rampage.
So, yeah, to answer your question, Spectre is still a very good late game carry. Definitely the case.
Yeah.
He pressed his Haunt twice there. Did a absolutely huge amount of damage. 9,600 to be precise.
Oh, yeah, that's quite a bit.
And, yeah, and plus they all had Cloak of Flames as well. So he's getting Radiance Burn at 35.
Oh, yeah.
Cloak of Flames at 30. And any damage he takes was reflected back to his opponents at 25%.
Pretty
so,
strong.
Yeah, a bit of damage.
They're going to take this
He burned all of
mid-rack.
his mana.
And they are just going to go for the throne. I don't see why not. There's only 2 supports up for 5RAT. And we can see that all 3 cores of 5RAT have no buyback available. So at the very least, they'll get these towers. And I would think that the game is probably over here with the 16k lead still with the Aegis and Cheese. As a smoke now from 5RAT. Trying to hold this off as this looks like a 2-0 for Wildcard. There's the last-ditch effort. We got the hook shot into the Mystic Flare, but they're just going to shrug it off. And that is going to be it. GGs are called. Wildcard takes his 2-0. This one was not a shellacking. So congratulations to 5RAT for that at the very least. But this kind of solidifies Wildcard as the middle of the pack, as we talked about. And 5RAT, they're in trouble of getting relegated. But it's going to come down to this final.